The effort to increase funding for Capitol Police has gone through, although it was not universally supported. Notably, we're to give you the arguments of those who stood against that. US House Democrats barely passed a $1.9 billion bill to fund security measures on Capitol Hill Thursday after progressive lawmakers objected to the premise of the legislation that the Capitol Police and other security personnel need additional funding to better protect federal buildings in the wake of the January 6th insurrection. It is the Emergency Security Supplemental, passed 213 to 212. You don't see that a lot. That's pretty close. It includes $43.9 million for the Capitol Police, over $520 million for the National Guard, and $250 million for security improvements on the Capitol grounds. $250 million for security improvements on the Capitol grounds. I assume the whole thing is just levitating now at all points. It's levitating. Hey, I think that's the Lincoln Memorial. Anyway, I don't know what else they could be spending the money on. But Viviana, we do obviously have some progressives who spoke out against this. Jamal Bowman, Ilhan Omar, Cori Bush all said that a full accounting is needed of how hundreds of supporters of former President Donald Trump and white supremacists were able to break into the Capitol on the 6th as lawmakers voted to certify the election results, including whether Capitol police officers were complicit in the attack. And we'll have some more of their quotes in a little bit, but what do you think about this, about how close it was and who stood against it?
I mean, it's obviously a political thing going on, and I am against it as well, because the police were a problem that day because they were told to stand back. And that's what this commission needs to be looking at. What happened? If lack of police and lack of police funding were the issue, wouldn't we have like rabid mobs attacking the Capitol daily? Like, it's a free for all. You can just go, there's just one guy with a cup of coffee. That's not what's going on. We saw many of these Capitol police officers kind of just looking the other way. Obviously, there was a lot of violence towards them as well. So not all of them were, complicit, but I think it's worth examining what happened. And, we saw the strength of the National Guard coming in when Black Lives Matter was picnicking. So they were sure coming in and throwing smoke bombs and whatever else they were doing. We see the strength that our military has and that the police power has. We have all this money to keep funding them, but we can't do healthcare. We can't. There's no money for that. But we can. So let's have a commission to see what went wrong, and then let's decide if we need to fund them further. Totally. I suspect we don't at all. I'm going to stand by defund the police. I'm even going as far as abolish the police, as you know, John, because the system is just corrupt, as we see every single day. That poor man, two years later, we see that he was killed horrifically.
Green,
just a couple of days. 2 years later, the footage comes out. I mean, we time and time again. So I support Bowman, I support Omar, the rest who were against it, because it's just doing the same thing over and over and over again, giving more money to. We need to be focusing on these patriots and punishing them. And let's look at all of them that have been arrested. What do they all say? Not my fault. Donald Trump made me do it. I'm crazy.
Yeah.
So
and like I'm there. Yeah, you've got some major issues, and Donald Trump is definitely involved in it. But you're also still kind of responsible for what you do.
Oh yeah.
That's the way it works. And look, in terms of whether this is needed, we've got some numbers which we're going to give you. But I did want to mention, because I saw it being talked about in Twitch. So 3 lawmakers did vote present. So Jamal Bowman, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Rashida Tlaib did vote present. I mean, we will see what they say about that. That is not the same as voting for it. It's not the same as voting against it. There have been notable high-profile cases of lawmakers voting present on important legislation that I personally despised. In this case, I mean, it's not a vote in favor of it. It still could have failed, but I don't know. I'll wait to see what they have to say about it. But first, here is some of what they had to say in advance of it. There's a statement from Cori Bush, Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley, who said a bill that pours $1.9 billion into increased police surveillance and force without addressing the underlying threats of organized and violent white supremacy, radicalization, and disinformation that led to this attack will not prevent it from happening again. That is, I think, an indisputable point.
Yeah.
The issue with the January 6th was not that they didn't have enough resources.
Right.
It's a lot of things, but it's not that. They had resources, they didn't use resources.
Yeah.
Also, like there's all the people that encourage it and all that. Like, it's not, I wish I had a billy club right now, but we couldn't afford it. That's not what happened.
I read that they actually didn't use like the strong riot gear shields. They had like the mild shields. I don't know. I don't know what the difference, why there's two. This is why we don't need to defund the police. They have two different types of shields. Really, they need more shields? Like, this is the problem. We need to know why that mob was there. How did they come together in that large of a group? How did they coordinate? How did they have the cojones to storm that Capitol? Yeah. Somebody told them it was gonna be okay. Somebody told them that they were gonna look the other way and there weren't gonna be barricades. We need to get to the bottom of it. What is the harm in looking into this? You could have been killed.
Every Republican thinks there's harm. Every Republican, even the ones who are cowering, now are
by their own admissions. Those patriots are crazy by their own admission. So you really gonna trust these people to come in there and they're not gonna hurt you? They were defecating and peeing all over the place, John. I mean, these Republicans were the same ones that are so upset that people broke into a Target. Exactly. But the Capitol, that's okay. That's just some hoodlums, just boys being boys.
And by the way, so it did pass. They're getting the extra funding, but you should understand that before this, the Capitol Police was already one of the best funded law enforcement agencies in the US, with a budget last year of $516 million, up 11% from just the last year. So I don't know, I feel like that's a lot of money. I feel like they were doing okay before.
The argument was that some of that money should be towards mental health care for these people that suffered the trauma. For the Capitol Police, we've already lost one, was it two people to suicide?
Two people, I mean,
and the congressmen, the staff that are working there, their families. This was a really traumatizing experience, even just to watch from thousands of miles away. So
and by the way, there's a lot of people obviously who voted against it. So we seem to be agreed that we're against it, but understand you can be against something for very different reasons. Some of them are against it because Donald Trump is gonna kill me if I vote for this or whatever. No, it doesn't seem to be needed. Doing this won't solve the problem. In fact, it might distract from potential solutions. So let's have a little bit of nuance.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.